Fans of orange techno apes, thank you very much for joining me for a build and chat video where I'm going to build this intriguing little model, the Jokaero Weaponsmith by Citadel Miniatures. So gosh, how long have I had this now? I picked this up at the New Year's open day and it's been sat in my box of stuff to do. I had an inspired idea for a game that I'm going to play tomorrow, which revolves around this little chappy. So I thought, I need to build this, and why not share the experience of this most peculiar of models. So what do we get? Well, we get one sprue, one resin sprue. This is a Finecast model in effect, although they don't sell it anymore that because the brand's damaged and they're trying to do away with it. And one 25mm slaughter base. Lovely jubbly. Right, so let's build it. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Yes, I do. I've got a vague idea what we're going to talk about. This is just a little quickie, like building this miniature. Right, so let's start by removing it from the sprue. You can tell this is a later Finecast miniature because of the enormous number of air escape gates that have been made onto the model, which addresses one of the problems of Finecast models in the early days, which is air bubble damage. I wonder how long Citadel will continue to use Finecast. It can't be particularly efficient these days, given they do a pretty small volume of models through it. Those of you who are regular viewers will know I'm not particularly fond of Finecast as a medium for miniature creation, because I think it's rather soft, and I don't know, I think it's quite hard to actually work on and clean up. But you know, we do what we can. Oh, look at that, bless. Look, they've put a little nano block on it. Oh, that's cute. Alright, anyway, where were we? So this model was originally actually a metal model back in the day, and then it got, as many models did, it got converted over to Finecast. Now, I don't know why some models got converted to Finecast and others got left as is. There you go. So it's got this, you know, Jokaero for the uninitiated is a sort of techno ape, clearly and loosely modelled on an orangutan, and in particular the librarian from the Discord novels by the late great Sir Terry Pratchett. And when the Citadel designer decided to make this, they drew some inspiration from the II monkey with this enormous extended digit. Jokaero are well known in the lore for having interesting abilities like a fascination with technology and turning a toothbrush into a las cannon. They're quite interesting. Right, so let's snip the body off. So yeah, this guy is going to be part of tomorrow's game, which has the intriguing mixture of the Adeptus Custodes, a Jokaero, and some Tyranids. So you heard it here first on channel Leakycheese, a famous combo. Right, so we've got it off the sprue. Let's grab a knife and get rid of these gates. Let's have a look. So we're filming upstairs in the penthouse today, as one does. Now the problem with this multi-fingered thing is I have to be careful not to actually cut fingers off when I'm removing and cleaning up these gates, and it's a little bit trickier than you might like. Finecast seems to bear more than a passing resemblance to the material that Prodos Games used to make their resin models, and I think there is a common technique involved in so far as it is a injection molding resin technique, as opposed to with resin models you normally have a pouring type production process. It seems that in this late stage of the life of Finecast, the models are a lot better than they used to be. I mean, the original Finecast models were a PR disaster for Games Workshop because the quality control was absolutely abysmal. It truly was an embarrassment, and that's why they've moved away from the name, because they know it was it ended up being damaged goods, did the brand of Finecast. I mean, I knew it was a bad thing on many levels. I mean, I wasn't really doing much hobbying at that point, so I didn't really see it happen, but I had friends who were involved and they told me about it, and I mean, yeah, and basically I think essentially they rushed technology to market that wasn't properly mature for the purpose intended. And that also was accompanied by a significant increase in the model price. And if you increase price and reduce quality, that's a recipe for disaster as a business. And that's what happened with Finecast. So, I can't say I'm overly keen on the stuff. I mean, it's like a resin material. To be honest, this actually feels... I wonder if they've changed the composition somewhat, because this feels harder than the last time I worked with Finecast and built something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe slightly. I've not done that many. I avoid Finecast models, just on the general principle that they are Finecast. Don't know. I'll be interested to hear what people think about Finecast, particularly if you like Finecast. I would like to hear why, you know, what you see as being the good qualities of it, because there's no end of comments around why Finecast is a bad thing, and I guess everyone well understands that point of view. But I'll be interested to hear if there's any people who are particularly fond of the material, and if you've got good experience with, you know, i.e. built a lot of Finecast models. That would be very interesting to know. If you know, what do you see as being its good points? I mean, I guess clearly there are advantages over white metal in terms of the ease of working with it, because it doesn't, you know, the low lead or lead-free pewters that Games Workshop uses are very hard. And let's be honest, cleaning up miniatures takes a lot. If you want to get rid of all your mould lines, etc., there's a lot of physical work to do with a blade and files to get rid of those. So clearly Finecast has an immediate advantage over that. But I don't like it. Well, don't like it. I don't think it compares very well to forge walled resin, which which I really like as a material to work with. Lighting might not be the best on this one because it's night now. Well, the sun has gone down. So it's a bit later here in the United Kingdom, so I'm working under artificial light, and the penthouse is not as well lit as a kitchen diner where I normally film. If this isn't as well illuminated as normal, that's the reason. Okay, that's alright. Now, I don't know if that's supposed to be part of his ear or not. I might leave it and come back to it later. I mean, to be honest, that's pretty nicely cast. There's nothing really in the way of a mould seam. They're just odd little bits. I mean, obviously there's quite a lot of messy gates to take away. Is that another bit there? I think it is. I think this is a bit of gate here as well, so I'm going to take that away. There we go. Right, let's sort that arm out. Now, this is going to be a little bit more delicate. See if I can snip a bit more of the sprue or the gates away. So these are quite fine fingers, like a real life II monkey. I'm guessing that Jokaero aren't seen as being a harbinger of doom like II monkeys are in the real world by the native populations that live close by or that interact with them. The II is one of those nature's ugliest animals. They're very well evolved for their ecological niche. To the human sense of the aesthetic, they are but ugly. Well, certainly my sense of the aesthetic. You know, you wouldn't say, you don't see, aside from the fact they're wild animals, but there aren't a great mass of II cute videos on YouTube, you know, the same way that you have dog and cat videos. And that's because they do look pretty disturbing. I don't know, I'm sure some people find them cute. There you go. That's another question for you guys and girls in the comments. Do you think that II monkeys are maligned? And are they, like, you think they're really cute animals? I mean, some peculiar animals are cute. I mean, one of my favourite animals is the duck-billed platypus of Australia for a whole host of reasons. They are a most fascinating creature if you ever get the chance to see one. I remember when I went to Sydney Zoo, I spent an awful lot of time in the platypus enclosure just watching it swim around. It was an absolutely fascinating beastie. But, you know, I think duck-billed platypuses do fit in the realm of what could be considered to be a cute animal. Unfortunately, II monkeys, I don't think they can share that privilege. So back to the Jokaero. So yeah, Jokaero are fantastic little things. In the original Rogue Trader game, they had hilarious rules, and basically you could reassemble weapons into increasingly large parts. So if you had a big enough pile of lasguns, the Jokaero could try reassemble them into a really large laser cannon. So in the day it was called a defense laser. These days it would be called a volcano cannon. It was quite a funny aspect of the game. It really is hard to figure out where some of the key ends in the model begins on this one. Not having a picture on the miniature pack as well complicates things somewhat as well. Well, not complicates, but makes it, you haven't got that immediate visual reference, have you? There's no instructions with it either. Probably not worthwhile, I imagine, in the grand scheme of things from Games Workshop's what do we need to do to get stuff to sell department perspective. Right. Of course, back in the day of Rogue Trader, it's a really rather rare miniature now. You're probably looking at the £40 to £50 mark on eBay, but they did actually make a Jokaero. I think they might have done a couple of Jokaero. They really did look like orangutans, whereas this Jokaero, I mean, obviously it's very orangutangy, but they've also made it a little bit more alien by bringing the II design cues in, which is, yeah, pretty neat. I like it. Okay. I almost need to go heat this up just to squidge it into position. I don't think it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be looking. I think that's slightly wrong pose. I think it's supposed to be a bit more like that. Okay. I think I might have spotted what I need to do. And we've got about the right pose there, so we grab a little bit of super glue and we shall attach the arm to our Jokaero Weaponsmith. Another question for the comments: anyone got a Jokaero Weaponsmith model, and if so, do you use them? How many do you have? Have you got an army of 750 Jokaero, which I've heard can be a very effective apocalypse force? Has anybody got the ye olde Rogue Trader era Jokaero? Now that, if anyone's got that, you would certainly qualify to be a true Rogue Trader fan, just on that alone. That's not to say that because I haven't got a Jokaero Weaponsmith from the day, I'm not a Rogue Trader fan, because, you know, clearly I am. It's just I never bought a Techno Monkey back then. With a little zap of accelerant. Right, got a bit of milliput that I mixed up a few hours ago here. Well, at least we can get the focus on it. Come on, camera. There you go. I think I might just be able to flog the last bit of life out of this to fill it, do a little bit of filling on this model. And then we'll stick him on his base, or her. Not quite sure if it's a him or her, an it, or what Jokaero's position is on gender. I believe actually no. I correct myself. If I cast my mind back to the original lore, Jokaero do have male-female genders in a comparable way to humans, because they're described as living in family groups. And given that it's an advanced vertebrate type creature, it's probably safe to assume that it uses sexual reproduction, or, well, has evolved sexual reproduction. I wonder if Tyranids started off with sexual reproduction and then adapted themselves over time. That would be a great story to write, or a great piece of lore to explain. Origins of the Tyranids. That would really be fascinating. I don't know if anyone's actually done anything in that in GW lore. That's another question for comments. Has there ever been anything written about the extragalactic origins of the Tyranids? It's a thought. I mean, what are Tyranids? Are Tyranids some sort of evolution of ants to an extreme? Or, come on, focus. Or are they some sort of sentient creature that has evolved one way and then decided to modify themselves and turn themselves into a hive structure? That's a fascinating thought. Talking of Tyranids, I think the Tyranids are going to be the antagonists in tomorrow's game. I think I might have already mentioned that, mightn't I? Repeating myself now. There you go, that'll do. So now I've got our little weaponsmith with his finger of questing. This is a very neat model. Let's just do the base and then we are complete. Better finish my glass of wine before it warms up too much as well. I'll do that after the video. Don't drink a model, kids. It's bad for you. Got to make these these bases with these injection moulding dimples annoy the heck out of me. They annoy me because I know the new 32mm bases, or the newer design 32mm bases, they corrected the issue with dimples. Oops. Okay. Right, so that's more than a snug fit, that. Gotta be careful here, because these things are they feel so fragile, do Finecast. I just really don't want to break it, and I can feel it wanting to break. I'm not confident that the model is strong enough to survive me shoehorning it into this slotter base. Maybe if I try just take a bit of plastic out of a slot. Ooh, was that rain? I might need to go close that Velux window, otherwise I'll have a wet bed tonight. No comments about that, thank you. It's a squidgy little thing. Right, I'm going to just cut a bit of this away. That will need heating up just a touch too, so I can knuckle that arm down to create a more firm attachment point. Can I get this further back? Yes, I can. Yeah, happy with that. Nearly done now. Cute little model this. I think it cost about £8 or something in the United Kingdom, so don't know. It's not, I suppose, compared to some Citadel miniatures, it's not too badly priced. It's about the same price as you pay for online exclusive metal models. It's that sort of price range. I mean, I don't know, I don't mind. It's such an oddity, it's just a fun little one to have, isn't it? Well, I think it is anyway. Okay. Very nice. Lovely. So yeah, just need a little bit of heat bending to bring that arm down. But yeah, otherwise we're done. So there you have it. The Finecast Jokaero Weaponsmith for Warhammer 40,000. Fascinating little thing. And there you go. I am going to probe your technology with my finger of probing. Now look at that. There you go. Typical. Got a Finecast air bubble. I'll sort that out in a moment. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that fun little silly assembly. Let me know what you think of this novel little model. But other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.